What is your approach to leading and motivating your team to deliver high quality results?
It's just a matter, with me, it's getting to know the team, really. Getting to know the team and building a relationship.
Is there any particular situation that help you to get it here, like in your past, or what influenced you basically, or how you make your skills so sharpen?
And it's down for a day, right? And so I think I went like 36 hours straight without any sleep. And I was the manager, but because of the need at hand, I'm actually hands-on working to try. So my name is Montez Johnson, and I am an IT technology professional and also an author. So my skill set on the IT side is primarily in technology solutions, regardless if it's business applications or even network security. So basically what I do is utilize technology to solve problems.
Great. So you have 15 years of experience in information and technology and application development. So what inspired you to pursue a career in this field?
I really enjoy solving problems, and I took a course actually at a college. It was a computer technology course, and I had a light bulb moment, right? And so I thought that, okay, if there's anything that I could use to solve problems, is going to be technology. And so my passion for technology came into play. So I'm really a problem solver, really. So my passion is in solving problems, and I use IT to do it. So when it comes to IT technology, I have an affinity for using whatever technology necessary to solve a problem. So that's why, I really enjoy IT.
Great. So you have experience in evaluating customer requirements and identifying appropriate IT solution. So could you please share any case study where you have put your extra effort to deliver a solution?
Oh, yes, I'm sure. There was this one last project we worked on. It was very interesting, meaning that I have never seen anything like it before. To make a long story short, I actually had to, after gathering the customer requirements, the recommendation was for them to build a custom application from the ground up. But we had a short time frame to do it. And so that short time frame was like 9 months. So I basically, we hit the ground running. I had a team working with me. I drafted up what is called like an RFP and submitted that RFP to some software engineering companies for this specific customer. Selected the top software engineering company, and we actually completed that project on time and under budget, and within 6 months. Actually, really within 6 months. And we had another 3 months to actually implement some enhancements to the system. And so this was $1 million project for an automotive industry company, and they were happy with it. We actually solved that problem. And just to give you a little background here, this is a company that has tried everything off the shelf. And I didn't know this. They tried everything off the shelf. But after I looked at their requirements, I knew that there was nothing in the market that could solve this problem. And so my recommendation to them was to basically build it from the ground up, and I gave them the reason why, and I was confident in the time frame, and so that's what we did.
Wow, that's amazing. You have completed the project before 9 months, like in 6 months you complete and you have another 3 months to work on it, and under
Correct.
budget also. That's amazing.
Correct. And so it was just a matter of setting expectations because
Yes.
we set expectations up front. And so that what we wanted to do is define, okay, what is a must have? Okay. And then like nice to haves, right? And so after I determined what the must haves were, meaning that what they needed to continue their business, to sustain the business, that's what we focus on for that 6 month period.
Got it. Great. So, has someone who has managed off-site and on-site application developers, what is your approach to leading and motivating your team to deliver high-quality results?
It's just a matter, with me, it's getting to know the team, really. Getting to know the team and building a relationship. So once you get to know the team and the players involved, there's this trust there, right? It's almost like the closest thing I could use as an example would be like a football coach, right? So with a football coach, when you talk to someone, you see them at work, you can actually identify their talents, their strengths and their talents. And so in most cases, when I assess a team or even a company to do business with, that's what I'm looking for. I'm asking questions to understand, number one, their technical skill set, but also number two, their attitude, really, whether it's positive or negative, and also their mentality, their mindset. Are they like, okay, at the end of the day, we're going to get this thing done, right? And so I think that's the A team to deal with. If they have all three of them, I mean, the sky is the limit, really.
Got it. So in the starting, you told you have the problem solving skills, you have the decision making skills. So how all these skills help you to manage complex IT projects? And could you give an example of particularly challenging project you successfully completed?
Yes, so there was many challenging projects. I would say probably the most challenging project I actually worked on was a project I actually took over to actually manage um, uh, with a company. And
Mhm,
this company, there were a lot of different layers within this organization, a lot of different departments, and they actually worked in kind of silos, I would say. And so when it came to getting things approved um, or sign off on, you had layer after layer after layer. Um, and so what I did was I documented that as a risk,
mhm. Got
right? And so my approach was to try to get ahead of the curve, right? To see what the potential risks are and how we could actually mitigate them. And so
Mhm.
what I end up doing is building relationships with the different teams. And so by me building a relationship with these teams, I was able to get things done in, I would say, a lot quicker than others, right? So uh, that that's an example of me actually identifying a problem, not necessarily being a
Mhm.
technical problem. Uh, it's more of a structure organizational resource challenge, I should say, when it comes to communication.
Got it. So is there any particular situation that help you to get it here, like in your past, or what influenced you basically, or how you make your skills so sharpen?
Uh, it's it's with me. I would say by staying focused on what I enjoy best, what I am passionate about, is solving problems, right?
Mhm.
And because that's my focus,
Mhm.
that drives my skill set, right?
Okay.
So if I'm up against a problem, let's say, for example, I'll give you one example. I was working for a company and we had a system crash, right? So if you can imagine, the entire ERP
Yes.
system is down and it's down for a day, right? And so I think I went like 36 hours straight without any sleep. And I was the manager, but because of the need at hand, I'm actually hands-on working to trying to figure out what the problem actually was.
Mhm.
Right. So to make a long story short, it was basically a hardware related problem
Mhm.
uh, that the vendor, the database vendor, had never experienced before. And so, but because of that problem, I was forced to sharpen my skills on the database side, actually. So understanding databases and understanding the different types of issues that that may happen and may occur, that I learned that from this situation. Now, I'm by no means a DBA expert, but I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to the DBA side.
Wow, I just love your passion towards the technology, towards the tech, and your problem
Yes,
solving attitude, because you have such a great attitude that already solved the 50% of problem before starting into it.
that's correct. That's correct.
So you're
That's what.
specialized in IT project management, project plans, SQL, DB2, business analysis, Oracle, etc. So can you discuss the most critical skill you need to excel in these areas?
Uh, I would say the most critical skills would be analytical skills. And for me personally, is it's is the passion that you have to solve a problem, and I think that actually speak to your character mostly, because I think most people overlook the fact that you can have all these skill sets, which is a must in
Yes.
most cases. Um, but your character is what makes it work when you're faced with difficult situations, difficult problems. It may require you to um, reach across the aisle, ask someone for help, or help someone else out for the sake of the team. So that actually speaks to character. And so that is what enabled me to actually be successful in the area of IT, actually. Understanding both the technology side, but also the business side of things, because at the end of the day, the technology is what supports the business to help the business grow, to put the business in a position where um, you could actually be more productive.
Yes, true. So, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting career in information technology and application development? And what qualities do you think are essential for success in this field?
I would say, again, I think when it comes to uh, software development, I think analytical skills are very important. Being detail oriented, I think that's critical. But also when it comes to developers, I mean, they are faced with a lot of different challenges and they have to solve problems. So those math problems that you actually, the calculus and pre-calculus and trig and all of those different courses you have to take in college. Um, those courses, I believe, are critical to actually train your brain to kind of think out of the box in many cases, right? So it basically exercise your brain to think. So critical thinking skills are important for that, for software development, I believe. But also you have to have the people skills too. I think if you have great people skills, it basically sets you
Hmm,
apart, far above, I would say, the standard offering in that case.
got it. So, finally, I also want to know most exciting and innovative IT projects you have worked on and what impact they bring on the customers or end users.
Yes, so there are quite a few. There's this one other project I worked on It was another situation where this was like a Fortune 500 company. We came in to assess their business requirements, their needs. This was quite unique, where this company had this idea, and they wanted us to bring it to life. And so basically, we produced the application that they wanted. It was a custom application, but there were some areas that were overlooked once we got into the details. The saying, "The devil is in the details," right? And so, with this particular project, though, I was actually working with a software vendor that was actually overseas in a different time zone. It was very challenging, and we had a lot of challenges, a lot of roadblocks for this project. Um, the the software application itself was for a very complex supply chain network, and so there were a lot of hiccups that we discovered um, along the way, that we encountered along the way, when we actually had the users actually doing the testing, and they brought up things that the initial uh, management team didn't even think of. But we eventually got that project, again, completed on time and within budget. So that was an exciting project, especially for a company of that size.
Wow, that's amazing. So, I just want you to share your story with the audience, that how you come on this position from 0 to 100. I just want to share that motivational story.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, to give you some background about myself, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I grew up in the ghetto. Okay. Um, at 19 years old, I could barely read or write. Um, and to make a long story short, I'm kind of fast forwarding. I had this experience where uh, I had like this epiphany, illumination hit me. And it was something basically told me, this life that I'm living is not it. There is more out there. But I couldn't see that more. I have never been outside of my community. Um, but that actually drove me to actually pursue something that I didn't know was out there. I hadn't touched, right? Even like academics. I, again, at 19 years old, I could barely read or write. um, and so I decided to um, uh, attend a junior college. It was very challenging for me, because I basically had to start all over from an academic standpoint. But what kept me, though, was my faith, right? So my faith, uh, it basically changed my mindset, so to speak, my mindset on life and what was important in life. And once I made that decision that I wanted something better and I was going to go get it, that was that was a catalyst that changed everything for me. And so I basically went to college and started at a junior college. I struggled big time. It took me 4 years to get my associate's degree. And then I went on from there to get my bachelor's degree. Um, but by the time I made it to like the 4-year university, or got my bachelor's degree, I was I had developed good study habits. And so I chose IT as my major, but I also understood business. Uh, I just had a knack for business. So I kind of combined business and IT together. And there was a program for information systems management. I got my bachelor's in that area. I landed a internship
Mm-hmm.
uh, my junior year in college, which was amazing. great experience there. And then it was, it just basically continued from there. Like at the one company I worked for, the first company I worked for after I got my bachelor's degree,
Okay.
I received four promotions in 8 years. Um, and so then I went on from there to working for other companies, manufacturing companies. I actually worked even as a contractor for a one of the major banks for 2 years. I did that, learned a lot, worked with some great people. So it was amazing. It was amazing. And now here I am now,
Yes,
right?
where you are right now. So, was there anyone with you who can guide you or who
No,
support you?
no. Unfortunately, there wasn't. Because of the community that I grew up in, um, I really did not have one in my inner circle that I knew that actually went to college, let alone graduate from college, right?
Yes.
So I really had no one. Um, I can say my mom, my mother, she passed away a few years ago, but when I was in school, she was the one that encouraged me. So she was a beacon of light and encouragement. She did not have a high school diploma.
Okay.
Uh, yes, but she knew the value of an education. And so she was the one that kind of encouraged me when I had those moments of almost depression, right? Um, but it was just me, and I have to admit that I really had to alienate myself from my community,
Okay.
right? I had to, um, because that was the only way for me to stay focused, because I was going in a totally different direction than them. For example, out of my friends that I grew up with in my neighborhood, I am the only one out of my closest friends. I am the only one that graduated from high school. I am the only one that received a college degree.
Wow. That's amazing.
Uh, and the other ones, unfortunately, many of them were uh, victims to uh, crime, victims of crime, I should say, and some of them actually committing crimes. Like one of them actually received like 40 years to life in prison. Um, and another one was murdered at 15 years old. So that's the type of environment and community that I grew up in.
And,
So I,
and
I had to separate myself from them.
And at that time, a company matters a lot. So you were staying in some XYZ bad company, but there
Yes.
you come out without any person's support and came on this platform where you are helping other business to grow, to help the customers and other things. I think that's amazing. You were having the two option whether to go path of destruction or path of creation, and you went on the path of creation. I think that's a amazing thing. For that, you need a lot of control on yourself, and the
Yes.
way you handle yourself, how beautifully, it's just an extraordinary. So could you please give a lesson to the audience, or if I say in other words, if you have the 5 minutes, and you have to tell something to whole world, so what
Mhm.
will you tell them?
I would say one of the things that I've learned over, I would say, the past, I would say 20 something odd years in my experience, and that is understanding, right? So I have understanding now of the two worlds, and I'm calling them two worlds. It's basically two cultures, I would say, environments that I actually been a part of. The environment that I grew up in, gang invested, poverty, drugs, you name it, and then in corporate America. right? And so when it comes to understanding, I like to put it this way. Misunderstanding is understanding to the person who misunderstood.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's very important to understand. It's very important to truly understand. And if you don't, your whole life will be a misunderstanding. But you wouldn't know it, right? So I was going down a path where I was becoming a product of my environment. That's all I knew. I had no understanding of what was technically, right or wrong in a sense, right? But then I had no understanding of corporate America. But now that I have understanding of both worlds, right? But I can utilize my skill set in terms of understanding people to build, to foster better relationships, to help solve problems together. So even in corporate America, at the end of the day, you have a company consists of people. Those people have families. And so once you have an understanding, even like, for example, for the corporate side, you have a corporation, that corporation has a vision. The question is, does the employees working there, do they clearly understand that vision, number one? Number two, do they understand their part in making it happen, right? And then if you take it even on the social side, right? When it comes to helping out communities and things of that nature, right? So what is the root cause of the problem? Do you truly understand the root cause of the problem? And if you don't truly understand the root cause of the problem, you can solve a problem, but if it's not the root cause of the problem, it's going to get you nowhere, basically. You'll be spinning your wheels, right? So if I would summarize it, right, it's the wisdom to understand what you're working with, and also the application to solve that problem.
Got it. Great. I think this seriously going to help a lot of people out there. The advice, the story you shared. So that's all from my side. Do you want to add something from your side, or do you want to ask something from me, or anything you want to include?
Actually, no, I think that's it. I actually met you, and it was a pleasure meeting you, getting to understand your story too. So that's awesome.
Great, great. Then thank you so much for your precious time.
Likewise, thank you.